a little snack food in the microwave, and The Walking Dead is just about ready to begin. Alright guys, last week I was sick when all this is taking place. This week the baby's sick, so shh, we're gonna go watch The Walking Dead quietly. I didn't mean for that to happen. Anyway guys, hey, it's time for The Walking Dead. And while she like...
What'd you do to this guy?
He gave me a hard time, so I had to take care of the problem. Okay, so anyway, I'm really excited, and I'm yelling right now, but that's okay because we need to yell. I'm really excited because this episode, first of all, it's been almost 24 hours, so we have a sick baby, like I think I said. And you can hear him in the background. Hopefully he won't scream. I'm really excited for this episode because it was so dark and so sad, and at the same time, it answered so many questions for us, so many questions.
Yeah, and I kept asking those questions over and over and over to the Talking Dead on their Facebook page and on their website.
Which, we haven't talked about it. I brought it up to Lori Lee the other day that maybe we could start a segment to where we ask you guys a question that we've had, and maybe you guys post it down in the comments, your thoughts on that question.
Who was feeding the rats to the walkers, and
which we know now.
Who, disemboweled the animal and stapled them to the wall.
Which we know now.
Down in the tombs. And my third question is, where the hell is that herd of 8,500 walkers?
Or more. It looked like it looked like a whole city. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
When they showed it and they were all moving, they were on the horizon, and...
It was Michonne and Tyrese and Daryl and Bob, I believe. They were all in the car, and they were all coming in the same direction, and then all of a sudden they're gone. Where are they going to show up? Wait, are they going to be the ones at Terminus?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I was just going to say that just wait, they get to Terminus, and it's all these freaking zombies. I wanted to swear really bad to show you my emphasis on it, but that would be really cool. It's got to be something good. We've got 2 more episodes to go, so let's get into this one, and we can kind of start from the beginning. And I don't want to reiterate the story. I just want to touch on things that we kind of noticed. Obviously, so we know that Lizzie is cuckoo, way out there.
Yeah, because like in the comics, Carol adopts 2 boys, and the older brother, kills the younger brother, and that's all I know about because I hadn't read that comic. You got Lizzie who's crazy, and she didn't have a problem killing live people, but she has a problem killing zombies, and Mika has a problem killing zombies or people or anything alive.
Pretty much anything alive.
So they're like completely opposite,
Polar opposites. And which, it was brought up, and I agree that neither one of them can really survive in this zombie apocalypse. And of course, Mika was really close to how Carol's daughter was, and that's why, and it was touched on a couple times, that's why Carol feels that she lost her daughters because she was too nice.
Because Mika made the point where she said she don't have to fight or kill, she can run. And she said, no, my daughter ran and she died.
The episode starts off with Lizzie saying to Carol, I can watch Judith, and I'm sure that your guys' skin, just when that was said, is just like, oh, no you don't, you baby smothering little wacko child.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. Carol went off with Mika to talk to her, and Tyrese was sitting with Mika and Judith, or was sitting with Lizzie and Judith, and he saw someone coming down the tracks, and so he gave the baby to Judith, and he went after the zombie, and the zombie fell down in the cracks and broke its leg so it couldn't move, and then Lizzie said, we can kill him when we have to, and sometimes we don't. And so they leave the zombie alive. And then she comes back and feeds it rats. And I'm like, what the hell?
Just because her hard wiring in her head just isn't right.
She still thinks they're people.
Okay, so we see in there a little bit of Mika and Lizzie kind of freaks out, and Mika's like, okay, look at the flowers, Okay, concentrate on the flowers. Now count 1, 2, 3. So that right there tells me that Lizzie has this psycho condition that psychologists have looked at prior to the apocalypse simply because there probably wouldn't have been people that they had ran into to sit there and diagnose her and figure out what works and what doesn't, trying to calm her down or whatever. So whatever condition Lizzie has had has been pre-apocalypse.
Pre-existing, because they made a point on Talking Dead to say that in a previous episode when they were back at the prison, the same thing happened before when Lizzie was freaking out and Carol told her to look at the flowers and count.
Yeah.
So
that was brought up, and I don't remember that occurring, so it was one of those small little details. I thought it was funny, and maybe it's simply because they were on propane. Maybe they had a propane tank, and see, here's proof. I even wrote it down on my notes because it was talked about on the Vlogging Dead. Also, I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't be. The range
still had gas.
Still had gas.
Heating it up and cooking. While Lizzie was outside playing with an old granny type walker.
Right.
Carol's like, no. And she's like, no, don't kill it. Oh my God, you kill it. It's my friend.
I thought in that instance, because they kind of zoomed in for a second on the knife that was on Lizzie's side, and I thought that Lizzie was going to sit there and off Carol. I would like stab her right then and there.
They're just like us. You'll see. Carol and Tyrese go out and do this, sweep or whatever, and then they come back, and Mika's laying on the ground, not moving. And Lizzie's sitting there with blood all over her hand and with a knife. And, she's like, no, just wait. You watch. See, I didn't touch your brain. She'll come back. You'll see. She'll come back. And she goes, no, we'll wait. Just give me the gun. And she goes, well, I was going to do it to Judith, too. And she goes, well, honey, Judith can't even walk yet.
Very good point.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, here's the gun.
But put yourself in Carol's shoes for a second. First of all, to come across that, because you know that Lizzie's a little bit out there and whatnot, but she didn't get to see her almost smother Judith. She doesn't know that she was feeding the rats at the prison. She doesn't know a lot of these things. So for Carol to come up and just to see this and keep her composure, handle the situation.
Get the gun away from her.
Take Tyrese and her and put her in the house and then handle the situation outside because she knows how
she had to take the knife
Lizzie
out
could flip out.
She had to take the knife out and do Mika,
Yeah, and I'm glad that they didn't show that, because that was something that, we already know what was done and what she was doing, so they didn't need to show her.
So then she takes her down into the grove talking to her, and Lizzie's all like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to point the gun at you. You're mad at me. And she doesn't realize that Carol's mad at her because she killed her sister. Not because she pointed a gun at her. And she's like, look at the flowers, boom. And, this was after she talked to Tyrese and they both agreed that Lizzie needs to go.
Oh, by the way, guys, spoiler alert. Lizzie dies.
And so does Mika. If you notice, at the end, I don't even know if you noticed, but at the end, after they buried Mika and Lizzie, did you notice it was a third grave?
Yes.
With baby shoes hanging on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Reference was made to that when they first got there, and I can't remember exactly what was said about it. Oh, the other part of the story. Okay, so we have Carol and Tyrese, and the little kind of tension that has been building there. And we have something that we didn't realize until we watched the Talking Dead, the house, or whatever had been burning. Even Tyrese made...
the burnt walkers came from.
Yeah, even because they're attracted to light and fire. The fire that Beth started,
Beth and Daryl burnt the house. Cool.
This is our little zombie.
He's stinky too, so let's hurry up.
Okay. Woo, he let a zombie go.
Yeah, woo. Yeah.
So here's something else to think about too. When they first smell the fire, when they're on the tracks... And, of course, Tyrese is like, smell that, I smell fire. And I'm not sure that...
So I think everybody's really close together and they just don't realize it.
Well, right, as far as proximity with the rest of the groups. But as far as his mental state and fire, on the Talking Dead last night, they made relevance to maybe that, struck a chord with him because, that's how his...
Karen.
Right, which was his...
Girlfriend.
Okay. How she was killed. I don't think it was that big of a deal. I don't think that the correlation was really there, but... it certainly was there when the one chance that you think Carol is going to tell him
out in the grove,
and
then she gives him the gun at the table.
Yeah, and then later on she finally tells him that I was the one that killed him, and he forgave her.
After I think if she had told him in the grove when they were talking that he would have killed her then. But after everything that happened with Mika and Lizzie, he realized what things need to be done in the apocalypse, and he forgave her. He's not going to forget that he forgave her.
Right.
And they still got Judith to take care of, so he's like, you know what? There's no use in staying here anymore. We don't have the kids anymore. So let's just go on to Terminus, see if we can find everybody else.
And of course, you know, when with Tyrese sitting there, you know, reaching for the gun, kind of nod or whatever, they were doing that just for us.
Suspense.
Yeah, a little bit of suspense, because it's like, oh, is he going to grab the gun? Oh, is he not? And of course, he ends up not doing it. But here's something to think about. Okay, let's draw the big picture here now on who's going to Terminus, who's not, because now everybody is going to Terminus.
Except for Daryl.
Oh yeah, you're right, except for Daryl. And I guess that with the previews, we get to see a little bit more of Daryl's story this next week.
And Beth wasn't kidnapped, according to all that I've been reading online. Because if you notice on the back of the car that took her, there was a big cross on it. And in that church place that Beth and Daryl were at, where the guy was, whoever it was dressing the people up and taking care of the dead, it was like a church. I think they were saving her because they saw all the zombies.
Lisa A. from last week's Vlogging Dead, don't remember Bob ever mentioning Woodbury. Beth and Daryl were hiding in a funeral home in the embalming room is where it happened. I think Beth was rescued by the funeral director, not kidnapped by the gang. I think the walkers came for the dog. You hear the dog yelp, probably the funeral director's dog who was afraid of Daryl. That's pretty much what you were saying,
Yeah,
and I think that you hit it right on the head. So very intuitive, good guess. We'll see what happens.
There's only 2 episodes left, and then we have to wait till Halloween.
Which is cool. I love Halloween. I don't want to wait till The Walking Dead because the Halloween time is really busy for us. So anyway, speaking about busy and stinky zombies running around, happy haunting, happy walking. Be careful out there, and we'll see you guys next week.
Oh no, I got killed him. Oopsies, how did that happen? Oh no, he's alive. Everybody run away. And now I'll find the gun and I'll shoot you.